What kind of person was I when shit was hard? And the last thing I want to be is someone who just snivels away, and with anything in my life I want to face it, I want to overcome it. And I especially as well know for a fact that when days like today where it's long, it drags out, what am I going to do? When I'm going to sit there and complain? It's about just, again, you just got to lean into it. And you know what? But I sit there and I love it when it's hard, because I know people aren't going to do it. Man. That prep 2 years ago, I don't think most people knew. It's like I was so scared about getting anxious and, you know, getting stressed, and it was so scary. And this time around, it was like, nah, like I'm not prepping out of fear, I'm prepping in faith. Faith always over fear. You know what, like I tell people this, it's like once you then do things out of love and faith, you can go way further and way longer than doing something out of fear. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Today I'm going to do stuff that others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't. Simple as that. That's what I always live by, is like, you just do it. Do it today. Don't even like wait till tomorrow, because you don't know if you're gonna wake up tomorrow. Simple as that. This is why like I'm willing to go through literally like the burnt ends of hell to get in condition and to get in shape and to look how I want to look, because I know for a fact when I'm done with this sport and when I'm old and I have children and they look back at who I was, what kind of person am I going to be? You know, when they see this kind of stuff, like the last thing I want to do is say, oh, you know, it was so hard, I didn't want to do it. No way. Like I'd rather face exactly my obstacles and overcome them like a real man. You can rise up towards things that are pushing you down and overcome them. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but as long as you just keep going every single day. What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to episode 2 of Pro Debut. So really excited. Today is we're 3.5 weeks out, so we have shoulders today. Shoulders and calves. It's an interesting workout. It's pretty quick, pretty intense though in a sense. So I'm really excited to take you guys through today. Since that last video, we've lost like another like 6 pounds. We've lost a lot of body fat. Conditioning's really coming in now, especially with what Neil said. He gave us our feedback. So we had a couple of good days over the weekend, a couple of high days, lost more weight from that, and then back to the low days, lost even more weight, and then lost even more weight again. So body's like really like making some great changes. I'm really excited. So today we've got just like some presses, some lateral raises, some rear delts, and some calves. So it's fairly high volume today as well. So, but now because we're obviously close to the show, you know, we're like really starting to come in now. I've just swapped a lot of free weight stuff like machines, just for like one, you know, just stabilization, injury prevention stuff, like I said last video. Yeah, really excited to run through it today, and let's get to work. So let's do it. This feeling that you get, it sort of like scares a lot of people because it's like very uncomfortable. If you compete a lot of times though, it's exactly what you're looking for. And I think once you sort of like lean into that, that's when the magic happens. The magic happens when you lean into things you don't want to do. And it's like this, it's like, you know, training hard, lifting heavy, no excuses. You got to do it. I think as well, you'll encounter a lot of people where, you know, they will try to do the absolute bare minimum. You just can't do that in the sport. We can't do that in any sport, especially on the pro level. I also find as well, just making sure you're doing everything you can to maintain as much muscle, especially in deficit, because a lot of people struggle to stay strong. And that's also due to like a lack of recovering properly, making sure your sleep's good, you know, your food intake is still decent, even though it's very, very low for me, someone who's only 120 kilos, like on 200 carbs, but still that gets me through these sessions. Just about making the right changes. It sounds really messed up. I love that uncomfortable feeling. That means I'm on the right track. And especially too, it's like once I get the week out, I'm dragging my legs, but that's what I'm looking for though. And then the peak week, I just chill. You know, I just rest, let my body recover, and I'm making sure I peak well for the shows. I think this is where a lot of people go wrong. They think, oh, you know, I'm getting fatigued, I'm really stressed, I'm really scared. I used to be like that, but you can't. You have to lean into it. And once you lean into it, you're like, oh, it's not even that bad. It's just about making sure you can just tick all the boxes as consistently as possible, you know? Because at the end of the day, if you miss the mark, and you did everything you were told to do, that's fine. Just try to get better. But if it was something that you have done and you know deep down, like, you know, you went off plan, you had this meal out with people, or you had that drink of alcohol, that's gonna bite you in the ass. And you don't wanna do that when you compete, is look back and say, what if? No way. Yeah, we'll fly out 2.5 weeks, so pretty much right now, I don't know, I have like a sense of like calm, humility, but I think it's just because I know I'm just doing everything I'm told. I think when you do everything that you're tasked to do and you nail it every day, you stop stressing because like everything else is then out of control, if that makes sense. I find with this kind of stuff, it's just more based on you just ticking the boxes. Like that's all you got to do. It's like, for example, like, you know, talking to a few amateur athletes. We got some the amateur athletes for NPC competing in 2 weeks, which is like a week before my first show. And, you know, some of them are really stressed and anxious, and it's because you don't know what to expect. And also you're not going to be confident until you've done the thing. So like my first show was exactly 10 years ago. It's been 10 years of competing, and it's a long time ago. But I remember before I got on stage, I was so stressed. I didn't even know how to pose until before I was backstage. So now being 10 years into this, or 5 years on a more competitive, serious level, you know, when you've done something so long, it's like brushing your teeth. You just know how to do it. And that's like with me with prep. Like I love being present from day to day, even though, yeah, I'm aggressively pushing. I'm in the trenches, but I feel really good. I'm just so grateful to do this. And I think that's why, because I love doing this so much and I've got really good people around me, I really do thrive more. It's a great mindset. Honestly, like in terms of just overall mindset, it's just gratitude. I think that's the biggest one, gratitude. Neil, I remember Neil was like, you'll work your fucking ass off. And you know what I messaged him? I just messaged him 3 words. I'm all in. Simple. I mean, I booked those flights, I booked the accommodation. I'm like, fuck this, I'm fucking doing it. I'm either gonna look great or I'm gonna look like a fuckhead. You know what? I don't give a shit. I'll do it. Yeah, I'm just really happy to like bring an improved package, you know, because before it was like I was so behind on condition. I had to really, really dig, but even now as well, I'm actually digging harder than what I was last prep. But being around good people who support you, doesn't have to be many, you know, but I just wanted to, you know, just show that gratitude to all these good people around me. And, you know, and having a good support system, it really takes you a long way. It really, really does. You know, it's something I'm really grateful for. It's like being in a good gym environment, being a good family environment, you know, having good friends around you, like, you know, having good faith with Almighty. It's, you know, it's really changed my life. And I think that's why as well, it's like now, because I've given myself over to God, it's like, He's like, now, okay, I'm gonna like allow this to happen for you, if that makes sense, versus like I was trying to like push against the grain, and I was always like anxious and depressed, and I thought, you know, by medicating myself and going like SSRIs and stuff would help. I never did, but I was heavily contemplating at one point, but I mean, now it's like, you know, it all went away the moment I just started trusting God. And it sounds crazy to believe, but you know, He's got crazy miracles for people, you know, like He's certainly, you know, had a lot of miracles for me. So, you know, and all I know for a fact is like the moment He says like, you're done with this, I'm done, you know. And that's something that's easier said than done, because that is very hard to walk away from something you've committed 10 years of your life to. But knowing that He has my best interests at heart means everything to me. So, you know, I think that's why as well, it's like, you know, you can also go into church every Sunday. It's like you're practicing gratitude and you're saying like, thank you for everything you've given me. That's why every day I wake up and I just love the day. I really do. Like there are times, of course, where I'm feeling pretty average, but like there's never a time where I'm not grateful. My upper back lacked a lot of thickness. So the reason we do this is like to get just more rear delt and also a bit more trap as well. And then probably next week we'll then just move that as well, pivot that over to like a reverse pec deck. But still, we're about 3.5 out, so nearly just under 4 out. So I'm still in a pretty good spot. Like by next week, the week after, I'll probably start feeling a bit more sandpapery. So just more so for injury prevention, but we're pretty good now. Usually my hammies roll over pretty well, like the left side a bit more. Alright. Full hammy. A lot of speed skating days and ballet helped a lot. Builds good posterior chain. Building up like a lagging muscle group. Like for example, like back in the day, I thought my legs were small, and then I just started like squatting really heavy, like all the way down. Within like 6 months, they like doubled in size. So that was cool. It's pretty cool to see like your body change just from the work that you do, especially too, like, you know, bodybuilding is like it's like a meritocracy where it's like it's based upon the effort that you have, which I love. It's like you're just judged on merit, which is exactly why I love this sport. Also, it's like, you know, it's not like team related, so it's like if someone else like makes a mistake, you have to take the fall for it, which I played many team sports. I feel like I love with like bodybuilding. It's like it's all personal self-endeavor, so it's all up to you, which gives you a high level of accountability, you know. But you know it'd be really cool just seeing like how, like for example, I haven't had like a burger or like anything like a free meal in like nearly like 3 months. Just straight, just like standard food, very clean food. Seeing like how my body will respond if I ate like a burger or a pizza or something, or sushi. I'd like to see what would happen. Either I'd become a watery fat mess, so I'd look really good. Because I'm having a high sodium issue, it wouldn't be an issue, but like for example, you know, the best thing is like the night of a show, you go out for dinner, you have something like really high sodium, but then like, you know, you don't just go crazy on the water. The next day, just the pump's ridiculous. You're full, you look super 3D. That's the thing I love about like, especially too, like when you have carbs like that night, the next day you train, it's just like fucking bang, like it just all opens up. It's such a cool feeling, especially too when they open up the door in there in the boxing area. After my first show on the overall in Classic, and I remember I did like a side tricep, and I just looked so 3D, even like with like a front, like double bicep. It was crazy. I'm looking at like, what is happening right now? It's such a cool experience, but you know, just gotta be mindful of it all, especially too, if you're not used to having stuff that's on your plan, don't have it, simple. When you get lean, your body just responds very quick. But it's so funny because I still remember like talking to a good friend of mine, Gashi, and he was telling me, he actually commented on the last video, so thank you Chungus, but I mean, he said the most changes came in those last 4 weeks. Because you're already lean, you start changing like 1%ers and it makes a dramatic effect. Because you're so lean, you can see yourself waking up new lines every day. Look, and also too, you know, the more muscle you get, the leaner you look. So, you know, like I think with my physique, over the last few years, I've really built up more density. So it just looks leaner. So for example, if I like hit like a, you know, like a leg pose, I've really built up a lot more density in my legs. So my legs look leaner year round. That's the last thing to come in is like my abs, my lower back, a bit of my upper leg and my glutes, but we just keep monitoring it, making sure everything's all good. You also don't want to over diet everything else just to bring in just peeled glutes. Like it's a whole look, you know? I'm just gonna get better and better. So I'm really excited to just see how we progress, you know? Very grateful for the process, and peep the new Doherty's merch, Doherty's Gym, world famous. That was a bit of an interesting workout, but I'm really keen to run up the next one. I want to say like thanks again for tuning in. I'm really excited to share this journey with you guys. Look, whatever happens, I'm really grateful to have so many good people around me and just bring the best new and improved Chungus 2.0. So I'll catch you later guys. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, get in on the action, and stay classy. Peace out.